There you guys are. This is Black Spring with Autumn here. Hope you guys are doing well on your Wednesday night. It is. I am, here again. I just want to come in for just a few minutes. Hope you guys are doing well out there. And I'm still testing out a couple of things, but I definitely want to talk about, I do want to talk about a couple of liners that I've seen. I kind of mentioned them the other day. And I don't know. I'm just wondering if anybody's around. I know this is, this might be a little bit of a different vintage, but it's kind of fun. I was thinking maybe I'd wear it to work tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I'm just kind of playing around, just a little bit here in the studio, if you will. So, hold on just a second. So if you could hear me and if you could see all of the see everything in the background, then I guess you could just give me a thumbs up. Or what is it, a 5 by, no, I'll just take the thumbs up, I guess. It doesn't have to be a 5 by 5 or whatever. But yeah, if you see any changes on any of the artwork or anything, like, don't be alarmed. It's still going to be, you're in the right place. Okay. So it's still going to be Black Spring with Autumn. But there will be some updates to that as well. So if you see some things, you may have already seen some things. Shout out to Joseph Francis Burton, who dropped in earlier, or at least he just kind of tagged in on on something else that I did maybe a day or so ago. But yeah, you're still in the right place. So it's not going to be, I'm not changing the moniker, if you will. So yeah, so this is still Black Spring with Autumn. So I'm gonna try to I kind of want to talk a little bit about this whole emotional arc, or this whole public, the public square, or the map of public concern, I guess is what. And I've almost drawn it down a little bit to a plot map. Hello. Yes, I'm definitely on the mid. So yeah, I'm still under this. I'm still under this little cap here, but thanks so much. Yeah, I was thinking about wearing it to work tomorrow. It's definitely a different vintage, but it's kind of fun. So I appreciate it. Um, Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much for coming in. So yeah, so what I'm on about right now, I just want to talk just for a little bit. I'm not using all of the screens and all right now because I'm still playing with this gadget. And so just FYI, if you see any other artwork or anything going around, it's, I'm working on it. So yeah, so I just want to talk about this just for a second, just for a little bit, just kind of give you a little bit of a preview. This is going to be kind of a preview to a more extensive stream that I'm going to do. Hi, Derek C. Williams. How are you? How are you? What I'm on about is I want to talk about a couple of liners that I've seen. Of course, one of them is Politico. And of course, it concerns, yeah, you guys feel free to always drop your links when you come in here. Go ahead and do that. Do that for yourselves. I mean, I call that, around here, or dare I say, we call that watering our gardens. So we're going to water our gardens right now, whatever you need to do. Derek C. Williams, thank you so much for tuning in. So I kind of want to talk about this whole thing about, I've talked about a little bit of a thematically, we have national security, we have shutdown, and there's a lot of emotional implications that come with those words. I mean, say just for instance, when you talk about a shutdown, so it signals, of course, in the modern media, or the media rhetoric is basically, their signals are going to shape, the public concern. Okay, so in this case, we have the situation where it says, Trump is open to invoking the Insurrection Act. So in this case, this kind of takes me back to 2020. For those of you that have been around this channel for a little bit, or dare I say, shout out to the class of 2020, 2019 CV19. I always say that because we were kind of witnessing from we were witnessing from our TV screens or from social media the things that were going on in Portland back in 2020. I don't know if you guys remember, what was it, the police chief at the time, her name was Carmen Best. And at that time, there were a ton of things, going on. Let's see. Yes, thank you so much, Derek C. Williams. And of course, realize, please drop your link as well. There were a ton of things going on around that time as well. Even as I think there were some other acts that came up. There were some other acts that came up because I think at the point at which we were, that there were attacks going on. There were amongst protests and all these kinds of things. They kind of had these little, dare I say, little camps set up all over the place, but there was, of course, violence and all these things that were going on. And I think that the same idea came up in 2020. And so when I see this now, I say a lot of these players, a lot of the same sets have been activated for a time such as this. So it kind of brings me back to the summer of love, or whatever I called it on my channel back then, the summer of descent. So I don't know, maybe towards the weekend I'll get a little bit more in depth into this. But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of danger to the whole idea of invoking, this Insurrection Act. Okay, I believe its origins are from, it's like it's of 1807. So this goes back to, I do believe, Thomas Jefferson, and this kind of thing was invoked for even other rebellions from those 19th century or mid 19th century and later rebellions. Where you Shays Rebellion, you can go on. Maybe even Eisenhower and some others have invoked this act for different reasons, okay? But of course, you have, the constitutional part of, is it constitutional, or is it within the states? Is it, within the guidelines of, federalism? So that's the question that comes up. Of course, today you say, oh, we have we have lawyers or, experts that are concerned with abuse in a situation like this. So I don't know, to me, it just seems like this is a situation that blurs the lines and could cause people that are not really, informed, or they're just kind of going on their emotions. So they're just willing to kind of go out there and do whatever, whether they, okay, so hopefully I'm back there, guys. But it's not taking a hint here. But so I'm sorry about that. But yes, so I'm saying that this situation kind of, the dangers in something like this, it kind of blurs the lines. Hang on a second. It kind of blurs the lines of, it kind of flips what's, thought of. It's either external, are we dealing with external enemies, foreign and domestic? So it kind of blurs those kinds of lines. So when I see this kind of a thing, it's making me think right away that we might need to consider, what's playing out, or what could play out in a situation like this. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think situations like this can keep coming up without eventually the lines getting blurred enough that it becomes them versus us. So that's what I'm saying. That's the danger. That's the danger in this kind of, and I'll call it rhetoric, because I think that's what it is. But let's go with Derek C. Williams coming in hot when he says, of course, media is alleging that Trump wants a dictatorship, but his job as president is to quell uprisings. And in the case of Chicago and Portland, it's hard to argue against him. So I have heard about, I think I've heard some of the things that are going on in Chicago, everything from ICE to the ICE facilities, and to the just crime. But I'm just thinking that at this point, I'm not really seeing, I hear all of these things, and if it's, to me, if it's a positive feedback, then to me things kind of hold up. But then to me, I just think that the trajectory, we're not really moving in a direction that's going to anything that disrupts that, or that has disrupted that in the past, to me has kind of kept the country going in the same trajectory. That, not a whole lot just changed. It's just kind of like, the pendulum swinging this way, the pendulum swinging that way. That's very tiresome. And but I think that, no, to me, that Mayor Brandon Johnson, I think he injects his own rhetoric in, because here again, these leaders, no matter what side they claim they're on, they all are going to, at the end of the day, they all will try to appeal to the wants or to the desires of the people with their rhetoric. And at the end of the day, when all the smoke is cleared and everybody goes home, it'll just be us versus whatever circumstances or whatever is left on your streets. Because Mayor Johnson is, to me, of course, he's not. I think to me, he could possibly be worse than Lori Lightfoot. But at the same time, I think if the people of Chicago actually think that, he's in their corner, I still think that they haven't really learned very much themselves. So Derek says, think about it, a mayor and a governor openly trying to stop a sitting president from doing what the citizens wanted to do and what they are unwilling to do. Yeah, well, I mean, I get it. I just don't see, to me, there's too many fires going on for something disastrous not to happen. You've got one, to me, you've kind of got a conflict with immigration going on, and then you couple that with, we're going to clean up crime. So with those things, to me, there's always a propensity for the people of color to be at the forefront of the conflict. But there's no real change. Everybody talks a good game. Well, people talk a good game, but there's no real change. And Chicago's been under, dare I say, what do they call it, blue leadership for how many years? For how many decades? I don't even know. But it's not, there's no street sweeper that's going to clean up any of it. So I'm just saying, people need to, proceed with caution, because if you go out here and either get yourself damaged or worse, you're not going to be around to talk about it. You'll get a few, I think people will act on their emotions. And a mayor like Brandon Johnson, I don't think he's going anywhere. He's not. And I think Portland wants what they have. And at the end of the day, it's going to be we the people that we're going to be the ones doing the cleanup, no matter what the intent, what the intent was. What did they say? The road to hell was built on great intentions. I seriously, I don't think a whole lot's going to change. There's too much, as they say, water under the bridge for anybody to go in and clean up these situations. Because what ends up happening is that they'll go ahead and they will, it'll just keep evolving. Like, say, for instance, the war on drugs. Will that ever be made right? The intent, whatever they claim the intent was, it's never going to be whatever the good intention. It's never going to reach that. It's just going to keep evolving, and it'll be a generational problem. And then the people that live in these places or that are most affected, they're the ones that have to clean it up. So, I'm just saying that there's just too many little landmines going on everywhere. let's see, we have Derek C. Williams says, yes, murders definitely are down 562. Killed in 2021, 161 as of yesterday, but I attribute 2021 as a literal case of the natives being restless, and there were 500 killed in 1990. And then Gary Gage comes in and says, hi, Gary Gage. He says, I think it's tough. Love, it'll work. He says, I have to respectfully disagree as it relates to Johnson. Chicago detest him more than Laura. You know, I do. Based on that, what's the name of the group? It's called, I've heard them chant, go red, go red. Yeah, they've got this red movement going on there. But some of them, you know, some of the people there are you know, seem to be, yes. So they have the Chicago flips red there. But the place is so steeped. I mean, I'm telling you, I just think that the whole scene, both of these scenes are just completely. I just think they're completely they're compromised. I don't know that city will ever, you know, they'll ever. I mean, I've heard the people. I've heard them redress him directly in the town hall meetings. And I just don't, you know, I just don't think the guy's going to go anywhere. He's not. I just don't think he'll get anywhere. See, Derek C. Williams says the blacks are calling him the N-word to his face during town hall meetings. Seems like hate. Yeah. Well, but then I've seen some other people. I've seen him apologist. I've seen the black apologist get up there and basically say, you know, basically defend or and even I've even heard him somebody say in one of those town hall meetings that they thought he was, once upon a time, that they thought he was doing a good job. So, you know, I mean it's Chicago we're talking about here. You know, there's a lot of history in Chicago, a lot of strong strong-willed and a lot of, quote, liberals. That place has got a lot of roots. I mean, when you're talking about Bill Ayers and the Weatherman Underground, that whole I mean, the place is, there would have to be a lot of wires clipped for that place to see any, I don't know, for the people to start thinking, for them to undo it. The corruption, to me, is even deeper than the indoctrination. You know, it's deeper than that. And then there's money. There's a lot of big money, I think, or old money behind the seats and the amount of control there. Let's see. Derek C. Williams comes and says, him and Tiffany Henyard. Yeah, she was hard to watch. I mean, and I remember watching a lot of those meetings with her. Let's see. Him and Tiffany Henyard, and we have the nerve to say the phrase, blind. Yeah, she's, I can't really, I mean, I can't say I was sad to see her go, but it took a lot of, I don't know, a lot of bad press, and I don't know. She just got exposed, you know, for the human being. You know, I think that she'll do a couple of things here, and then everything, but the rest is so bad it wouldn't work out. Let's see. She couldn't mask. Her mask fell down one time too many. A lot of people, you know, a lot of these politicians, they wear a mask. And let's see. Derek says Bill Ayers, Obama's benefactor and the literal author of his biography, Dreams of My Father. Yo, I think a lot of the I say the decoders, they say that he's coming back. He's already back on the scene. He never really goes away when you think about it. He never really goes away. And the same thing will be for Kamala Harris. They're always gonna have a role, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. Let's see. But yeah, so I'm just, you know, I mean, on the surface, I see what the intent is, but at the same time, we're in a place in time that I think that there's not a whole lot, that just one false move or one misunderstanding or misconception could be, you know, it could turn into something completely against, uh, the people. It could. Um, if you want to talk about, I don't even know, like I think there were 36 cities I know that were tapped for the smart cities. And that was even the World Economic Forum has that. There's an entire map. I'm pretty sure Chicago's on that list. I'm thinking Portland's on that list. Maybe even Seattle is on the list. I'm sure there's a few cities in California, New York. But I'm just thinking at any moment, you know, they didn't have these futuristic and dystopian type pieces released years ago for no reason. And I'm thinking we're on the brink of something that's much more dystopian than, I just don't think. No, I think there's much more to what's going on here than what's. I mean, look at it. Look at the economy. Look at. I mean, I ran into some things also about supply chains. There's probably more issues with supply chains right now than we're being. Yes, George Orwell's 1984. And it's already being installed. I mean, this little thing that I'm speaking to you guys right now in is a part of that. So, so I think, there's plenty of things, that have already been manifested, but I just don't think that, to me, this is another part of the rhetorical plot narrative, is to onto a theme of, so you have national security, but now it's not just national security and myth and that we have to believe in, but now we need to worry about whether or not this is going to be a situation in which, the people themselves are going to be suspect, or Yogi Fish, how are you? The people themselves, or if they say they're out there, if they're allegedly peacefully protesting, that's typically a part of the plot also. All of this just injects more tension into the whole situation, and it keeps us tuned in. You typically get unrest somewhere, and then eventually, you've got your climax is this. It's this, that, oh, there's going to be a potential insurrection act, invoked, and then until it quells down, and then you'll be right on to the next emotional arc. So it's just going to keep going, because you notice that the fumes from the shutdown are probably already starting to quell down, because there's actually negotiations, or the desperation is still going on, the loss of jobs, and all of that just kind of keeps us hanging on until, it's a layer. It's a layer of rhetorical plots, on one on top of another one. So all I'm saying is, which one is next? But just, think for yourselves. I mean, history doesn't, to me, from what I can see, patterns don't lie. The persuasion is what you need to look out for. The rhetoric is what you need to look out for. Let's see. Realize says, I worked for a building department for 10 years for a local government. I know these smart cities are happening. Oh, wow. That's interesting perspective you have, realized. So you know that they're happening. Wow. She says, apologies for the typos. Oh, no problem. No problem at all. And I'm going to be, I don't know, I want to look into that a little bit, because I think a lot of people thought once upon a time were cities that had, I forgot whatever the city was, in which there was a chemical spill at one time. And I was thinking, people were thinking that those cities were, once those cities were somewhat destroyed or contaminated, or they couldn't be used again for a while, that they would bring them back, that they would repurpose them, and those cities would become smart cities themselves. And to me, It makes sense. It to me, it makes sense that that could be a very real, scenario. It could play out very much like that. Let's see. Yogi Fish says chaos is good. Only the strong-minded will maintain sanity. You're right. You're right. Well, let's see. Derek C. Williams says smart cities, a 21st century twist to what we knew as eminent domain back in the late 1990s. That's interesting perspective, Derek C. Williams. Very, very interesting. So I'm just wondering, I don't know which one's going to emerge first. Which one's going to emerge first? Because there's something greater than just restoring the peace. That you can, I can't buy this day, time, and hour. I can't buy everything that's on the shelf. I just can't. Even if it looks so good, it looks so good. I mean, I can't. I just can't. Too much has happened. Okay. There's been too much deception within the last we could honestly say about 6 years now, going on about 6 years since CV19. And then, so even in the state of Alabama, people are, everybody says, oh yeah, they need to send in the National Guard. Yeah, they need to send in the National Guard. And, and then like a lot of these things that are happening are, to me, a lot of this crime is not a new phenomenon. It's not. Okay. After a football game, I'm sorry, but some places that you go to, they might be prone to violence. There was violence at graduations last spring, but nobody's going to send the guard in. Nothing like this has been in discussion. I mean, and it is. I mean, I can say some people might chalk it up to say, oh, that's a cultural thing. You know how we do after, the game or whatever, football games, graduations. I'm HBCU, sometimes the HBCUs host actual high school graduations, but they also had a gunman. And I'm very familiar with a situation in which there was a gunman or somebody went to their car to arm themselves or came back armed. So it's just, I just don't know. Like I said, I just think that there's a much bigger plan here. And it's not going to be, I don't think it's at this point, what is it? We're 2025. We're fastly approaching 2026. We're almost to the heels of 2025. The heels of 2026 is what I'm going to say. Derek C. Williams is hostess. I look into the works of Michael Kaufman. He was talking about the slow creep of smart cities, rewilding a forest. All the quote sustainable end quote talk is a slick scheme for land grabs. Now I wouldn't be surprised about that either, because what is it? They've talked about what is it, BlackRock and what is it, Vanguard. If you've ever managed or purchased your own, stocks before, then I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Vanguard. If some of us have tried to manage our own stocks / whatever portfolios, and so that, I mean, but yeah, so I'm just saying, this whole insurrection act, it's he's gonna get some pushback on it. Do I think any of these people care about any of us? No, I don't. I don't think they care about any of us. I don't. So, but I think you can't, in a situation like this, you're not going to restore peace. You're not going to restore peace. You're not going to do if anything, it's going to be more chaos and more loss is what you're going to get in a situation like that. Because I think they need something. If they can't kick off a civil war, then they need a reason. To me, this is my thing. You can't have the new world with everything from the old world intact. You just can't. Those things just won't align. You can't. The new, and what was it? George Bush said that we will have a new world order. Even Biden has gone on record saying that we would have a new world order at, maybe even one of the Air Force Academy not inauguration, commencement ceremonies. So they're going to have a new world order. You cannot have you're not going to have nationalism, I'm sorry, in a new world order. You're not going to have peace and prosperity, and you're not going to have all of that. You're not. You can't. It's just not. I mean, that's why you can't. So something's got to come out of all of this. And I think we started on it. I think we started it in 2020. Things are not going back to pre-2020. And I think we're on a 5-year cycle. According to the World Economic Forum, they're already behind. The thing is now to speed up. They've got to, from what I understand, they feel the need to speed up their agenda so that they can meet, so they can still have a chance at meeting the "you will own nothing and be happy," because Schwab has stepped down and now there is a new CEO in place. I can't. It's an American CEO that's the new World Economic Forum. It's the new head of the World Economic Forum. So to me, there's going to be more. I think there's going to be more. It's going to be more surveillance state and more control. And I just think all of these little elements, they've got to do something to, under the auspice of the old world, to get us closer to what the globalists want for the new world. That's what I think. Realize says the Big Brother wants eyes everywhere. Things are never going to be the same, and it's already happening. It's already happening. If you just look at the amount of technology that's going to be available to extra amounts of technology, new initiatives for technology or AI is going to be available to students for free, okay? For free. Yet they're all running around on the television quoting about how only 30% or 20 something percent of 12th graders can read at grade level or better, or even 22%, only 22% can do math on 12th grade level. So to me, I'm saying I hate to say this, and it's not, I don't mean to be blasphemous, but I'm pretty sure, I don't know all my Bible verses, but I'm sure there's a verse out there somewhere that says that, and I'm paraphrasing this, correct me in the comments, that the former world is gone. So no longer the things that we had before, that's gone. So we God only knows what's next, but it's not going to look anything like where we've been. And that's the future. That's the job markets. I don't know. I'm just thinking by the end of the year, what is the economy going to really be looking like? Just think about it. Things are up by 300% markups already. Shout out to anybody that's a prepper out there. A lot of people are back on that prepping game. The prepping game. If you've got a strong prepping game, please, chime in. Please stand up. The preppers, I think it's probably time. It's probably time. So I ran into a different prepping show, a prepper show last night, in which they're saying, like, don't even throw away your plastic bottles. To be just, you need, like, you got to get your supplies again. Some people don't stop prepping. They never stop prepping, whether it be for supplies, medical supplies. Now, and I didn't say anything about toilet paper. So, I'm sorry. Shout out again to the class of CB19. I see Yogi Fishes, lol, mole rat preppers. Realize says, my cousin has recently got her doctorate. She is a reading ESC teacher at the high school. what you say is true. Yeah, I know more about that situation than I honestly, I mean, the technology has not helped. You can't have automation everywhere and then expect, and then the moment you take it away, you have even the imagination. I find it to be, pretty much bereft. It's not there. Can you draw me a picture? Can I just look up one? No, no, no. How about you? How about you? I mean, imagination. Just expressing yourself. Yeah, I mean, reading is a perfect storm. It's not just one thing. It's not just one type of question. It's just not one type of, um, it's not just one strategy. It's a synthesis. It's a complete, and I don't want to go there right now. I could talk about the Fab Five until until the cows come home, but it's not there. When it's not there, it's just not there. Uh, so yeah, I honestly, I just think we just need to be prepared and, be prepared. I mean, I know this. Shout out to Mr. Pearson. I think he's moving out of Chicago. He's moving out of Chicago. He firmly believes that we need to try to get. He says, "Oh yeah, everybody should just try to get. We should just try to get the most out of whatever who is ever in charge and blah 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 blah." But he's like, "Yeah, but I've saved up my money and I'm out of here because you know these little conflicts once they come to your neighborhood, it's." Let's see. Let me read it. Okay, let's see. Derek C. Williams comes in. Hold on a second. You guys have got some really great comments in here. Just please read my previous comments on smart CDs. Okay, Derek, thank you so much for dropping that in. Yogi Fish says, very true. Creative output is copy and paste nowadays. And Derek C. Williams says, this is an article from CNN from 2020, no more, back to normal. Yeah, Derek C. Williams says, and we must accept that we will never go back to normal. But when you look at it, if you go into some of these stores right about now, there is no customer service. Like, what are they talking about? If anything, I remember, I'll tell you, I'm even going back a little bit further than 2020, 2019. I'll go even back to 2017. And you go into Office Depot and literally the people are hiding behind these shelves because they're so worried somebody's going to ask them for assistance. And I'm not threatening. I'm not going to ask you for any help. I know exactly what I came in here for today. But it was even then, it was that way. But you have all these, there's a tech company that from back in 2020, I'm wondering if they're going to start talking about this again. The robots, they were supposed to be tens of thousands of robots they were supposed to release in 2020 because of CV19. I know, they were going to be responsible for PT and for elderly care, and there's some people who honestly believe that we human beings, that we're the disease, that we're a germ in itself. So thereby, the robot is the perfect solution for the job force. I'm just saying, it's just, to me, we've all been kind of set up, in all fairness, and then you have people that are constantly encouraging everyone to use. We have industries or institutions that are constantly encouraging their employees to use AI. Oh, do this and do that and do this. Oh, well, this has been research has proven. And I'm like, well, you'll be the same one that just promoted research and you gave them the positive feedback to put us all out of work. All of your research promotion of AI, and you're going to be the reason that we're all going to be at the house very soon. And no, that's right. You are an administrator. So we all have to look up to you because, I'm telling you that if you go into a place like right now at CVS, you go into some of these stores are like ghost town. Okay. There's no one There's no one in at the register. You might have one person at the register. Um, and you got all these little self checkout things that looks like maybe one of them's actually functional. But yeah, that's not going to go. And I remember CVS also back during CD19, they were posting, they would post that there was a coin shortage on the glass. I also remember Starbucks posting that there was a coin shortage at the drive-through. So you could already see that the cash, that they still that everything is in it's a gradualistic process. Nothing is going to be done at the drop of a hat. Nothing's going to be done right on the spot. You're going to wake up. No, it's gradually being done. Gradually, phasing out the use of cash. I think it's pretty close to being phased out. I'm even told by some of my friends that, even at the college, they cannot they don't take cash. So yeah, I just have to think about, the future is already there. See, Derek C. Williams, hold on, I'm going to back up. There's so many great comments in here. Thank you guys so much. Let's see. Realize says, my cousin back during the C19 had a drone of some sort to deliver drinks to our home, and my brother works for Pepsi, and an autonomous truck drove itself there for pickup. No cameras allowed. Wow. That's incredible. Yeah, oh my gosh, Realize. Where it's like it seems like you're fitting right in with the class of CV19 right now. It's like, yeah, that's very interesting. Let's see, Derek C. Williams says the crime too. That's why they look like ghost towns. If they're in operation, locks on razors and cops. Well, that's the other thing that somebody was complaining about that today in some of these cities, that they have the deodorant is still locked up. And you see, that was one of the things that was going on during CV19. The deodorant was locked up, and I'm like, the deodorant never got unlocked in certain areas, or the store just completely closed up. Yeah, guys, this hat is it's definitely a different vintage, but I think it could be fun. But let's see. Derek C. was Amazon definitely drone delivers now. Realize says no cell phones for pics. And she says, I have a humongous family. Some are somewhat famous. Derek C. Williams comes in. He says, malls in Dubai, I'm told, have robots for security. Even pictures have emerged from Trump's home he has robot dogs as security. Now, Dubai, I have not been to Dubai. I have not been to Dubai. That's on my list. As a matter of fact, I wanted to go there probably like around between 18 and 19, but for some reason that was a discontinued flight. Yeah, we'll talk about that some other time. But yeah, that was a discontinued flight. And I think it was probably because Emirates, there was something going on because, of course, they are subsidized. Emirates is subsidized by their government. So, they can offer you that shower at 36,000 feet. It's like, how are we going to compete with that? You got a shower at 36,000 feet. You got a chef upstairs. You got a bar upstairs. And we're all still serving peanuts and, we don't have all of that. But yeah, like something was going on in the industry at the time. So, we'll talk about that another day. But yeah, guys, I'm just, I know I've gotten a little bit spread on this, but my point is that there is a narrative, emotional arc. There is a map of public concern, and they tell us what we should fear. They tell us what to feel good about. They tell us what to care about. And when it's okay to release, when the tension's going to be, they start releasing the tension, like they take their foot off the brake And that's all happens through the media. It happens through these politicians. It all happens because of the way that they are trained to keep us on these emotional arcs and these rhetorical arcs. So yeah, and I burned a whopping 45 minutes and I didn't even do the bells and whistles. But okay, it's coming, guys. It's coming. But this was good. This was good. Like I said, if you see some things, some wonky things going on with the channel, I'm working on that right now. Realize says they have many in fear and they turn the fear into what they want. Absolutely. Well said. Realize. Yeah, I mean, but that's honestly, that's their job. They study media theory. So that's what, I guess that's what you media comm, I guess, if you depend on what you, and I think that's why English and politics, I think that's why they all pair so well together, to study those two together. So yeah, but you guys, when you think about the CV-19, as soon as that whole situation as soon as that was released into the public, all of a sudden, the fear was released first. Okay? The fear was released first. And then from there on, they had you hanging on. What was it? You guys remember, how was it? How many days and to stop the spread? And was it 14 days to stop? That was such a joke. It was, I mean, listen, I'm not saying that the lives of people's lives, but I'm just saying, do you guys remember that? Do you guys remember the installments that we were given? We were given an installment, 14 days. There you go, Derek C. Williams. It was 14 days. It turned into 2 years. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think a lot of people have psychologically recovered from that. Okay? I don't think a lot of people, I don't think they will ever psychologically recover from that. Because for one, this country had never seen, I don't know, I can't, maybe let me walk that back. I don't think this country has seen anything like this. Okay? Not this generation. Okay? But at the same time, it was also used to, I think CV-19 evolved into what we have today. It's evolved in students with very short attention spans. It's evolved into shelves that are still not full. I'm telling you, I can go to certain places where these shelves are still not full. What they do is they face the shelves and they make it look like the shelf is full, but it's not. That shelf is not full. Okay? It is not. I mean, CVS. Why I got too much experience. I know too much about CVS. But yeah, I just think just about everything that was manifested itself that was manifested in 1920 is definitely playing out right now. It's evolving right now. And it's going to, the point is, it's going to evolve into, they want it to evolve into what they want, to their goals, the 2030 goal. Yeah, let's see. There's some people still wearing masks. Derek C. Williams says, folks wear a mask and smoke. Folks wear a mask and smoke, or they wear them on their chin. But Biden proclaimed the emergency zone. Yeah, well, yeah, it'll never end, But here's the thing. But when you think about it, to the West, to America, that was a new thing. But in China, you can go to Shanghai any day of the week, and people were wearing masks prior to 2019. Like they're wearing masks. I don't know, maybe it's a part of their government, their style of government, if you will. But they were wearing masks in 18. They were wearing masks definitely they were wearing masks in 18. And they were wearing them, yeah, just about any time. Yeah, I know for a fact. In fact, I'm sure I ran into a few people in Shanghai wearing masks. Realize says, my brother is a trucker long before C19. He says, things sit in the warehouses for 2 years prior always. There you go. Derek C. Williams says, proof that mind control and fear work. COVID. Yeah, that's true. Well, like I said, I just think we better stay tuned. And I don't know, there's going to be, I'm sure I'll come back. But I'm definitely not done with this one. Okay, I'm definitely not done with this one. But you know what? You guys are sharp. You know, take what you will. This is not judgment. This is, you know, guidance, mere guidance. Okay, you know, you can think for yourselves. We clearly. All right, so Derek C. Williams says pollution is heavy over there, so a mask makes sense, but no mask can stop a virus. But to the general public, ignorance is bliss. I hear you. I hear you. Well, I do want to thank you guys so much for coming in and joining me on this. I decided, I have no idea who might show up. But I do know that there's some visual things that are changing about this channel and some visual things that I don't like. And I'm working on those. So, but Black Spring is, I am Black Spring. This is what it is. Okay. So it's very possible I will see you guys tomorrow, maybe a little bit earlier. But yeah, definitely that's the goal. But yeah, this was fun. This was good. This was good. And this was just done on a vertical, okay? It was just done on a vertical. I'm not in studio right now. For all I know, I might have some other gadgets or something in by by Saturday. Thank you so much, Realize. I really appreciate you so much for coming. And as well as Yogi Fish, thank you for coming in. I'm so glad you guys could come in and you know, I'm just giving a little bit of you know, just a little bit of perspective here, because I just think that, you know, now there's more talk about there's a lot of talk about digital IDs. World Economic Forum, so it's all back. It's all back. So I appreciate it. So let me just make sure I say hi, thank you and good night to everyone. And yeah, you guys hang in there. I'm definitely thinking I'll be back, probably be back tomorrow, you know. We'll see. I kind of like this. But I'm used to doing some other stuff. But we'll see. I'm still trying out some programs. So, but for now, let's see. So I thank you so much. Realize. And make sure you guys drop your links. Yogi Fish, you know, you feel free to drop your link if you want to, okay? No pressure here. I'm just saying that you're welcome to do that here. Like I said, around here, I try to water gardens wherever I go. Let's see. Derek C. Williams. Derek came in with some great hits for us. Let's see. Please hit the like button too. I haven't said that in a long time on my own channel. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. But to be honest, it seems like you get, you know, I don't know if they're going to be adding any more bells and whistles to this particular medium of streaming, but I'm going to look into it. Because it seems like you get more views somehow coming on the mobile end. So we'll see. Like I said, I don't know if you guys want me to bring back some note cards instead of the bells and whistles. Bring back some cue cards. I'll bring back the clap cards. Let's see. Let's see. Thank you so much, Derek C. Williams. I really appreciate it. Make sure you drop your link. Yogi Fish, drop your link. Yogi Fish says, pace yourself. The real drama is coming. You're right. You're right. As they say, we haven't seen anything yet. Let me see here. Yes, you guys have kept this. This has been you know, it seems like I've only been in here for a few minutes, but we've had a great time. It says, whatever the spirit leads you to do. There you go. Realize. So you guys have a great, let's see. Let me read this comment here. I almost missed it. She says, Vietnam, 80 million accounts closed. UK required before Parliament. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Yeah, I hear you. Realize we gotta. Yeah, we'll get there. There's a lot going on there. Definitely a lot going on there. But once again, I appreciate you guys so much. Yogi Fish, realize. You know what? Let me do something here. Realize. Let me do. Thank you so much. Okay, so we give you an extra tool in there. I appreciate so much for the support. Let's see. Yogi Fish came in. Thank you so much. So I'm thinking I will be back tomorrow. I'm just trying to get the time. I'm just trying to get a time. But, you know, like I said, this was good. This was fun. I kind of have the screen on in the background. And so, I don't know. It's like the more light, the merrier, right? But this has got it today. New features are for going live. Yeah, I need to read into some of those. Shout out to Derek C. Williams. You're right. I saw something to. I saw that email that came in, but I haven't had a chance to go through it. But it says you should receive a notification in your Gmail as it relates to the features. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up and see what else they have, because it would be great if I could flash some, you know, some things across here. If I could preload, if I could have preloaded maybe Politico and another piece, you know, for you guys to, you know, maybe if it went to the corner and you wanted to swipe to this side, maybe if it was a split screen, that would be awesome. How awesome would that be if you could have a split screen capability while you're watching a mobile stream, where you could have the person's picture in one place and have whatever they're reading, like a news story on on the bottom or side by side. So we'll see what's coming here. Because I guess maybe people want to get from behind the screen, or get from behind the studio so much. So with that said, guys, I'm going to bow out. Absolutely. Realize. She just thanks Black Springs for the moderator. Yeah, AI problem coming soon with a dual screen. Gotcha. All right, guys. Well, you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday, and yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again soon. So I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll do a preview in the morning of what I would like to do tomorrow. Okay. All right. Thanks so much, Derek C. Williams, for coming in. Realize, and Yogi Fish. And I hope I didn't miss anybody else. But I do have some people in the background. So thank you guys. Or if you're a voyeur, you know, I always say thanks for coming in. If you're not sure if you want to come in or not, there'll probably be something added to this channel. But like I said, it's still going to be Black Springs. So I'm going to be here unless, they, remove me. But until then, guys, have a great rest of your Wednesday evening. And we'll be back with more liners, because there's much more to get into. Like, say, for instance, this economy and what we need to be doing to stay afloat. All right, guys, have a great evening.